Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and in this Sims Info and Thoughts video, we're gonna go over the new Lovestruck live stream that happened today. So, yeah, they do start off in Create a Sim. They had some really nice music playing beforehand too, which I'm assuming is going to be in Create a Sim and Build By mode. I don't want to spoil every item for myself, and we have almost an hour and a half of footage to go through anyways, but we'll go through some highlights. Might as well just talk about the one that's already on screen. So yeah, the new hairstyle is cute. The jewelry is nice. I like the top and the jeans. The shoes are not bad either, I suppose. But I love the back tattoo. That's probably my favorite part of this. And oh, that's cool. There's a little label on the back of the jeans. I didn't notice that earlier. The second outfit is kind of funny to me because we have a sleeping mask. It reminds me of what we had in the Sims 3 Master Suite stuff, and I have the same sort of thing about it here where it's like, I don't think I'll ever use this because then my Sims are gonna walk around with that on still. It's not like they'll just take the mask off when they get out of bed right away and still keep the rest of the sleepwear outfit on. Of course, there has to be some new underwear in a romance pack, and I love this swatch in particular. Like, wow, it definitely reminds me of that classic Sims quirkiness. Also love this risque outfit. It also makes me wonder, like, with a lot of Simmers around my age, when we were playing the original Sims and Hot Day came out, we had to convince our parents that it was an okay pack to get for us. Because, yeah, that pack was risque, and I wonder if Lovestruck may end up hitting the same notes for a new generation. They also show a couple of the new costumes to go with the costume chest in the pack. So there's the maid outfit we already saw in the first trailer. And those new leggings, they're not fused to the outfit. They're separate, so you can use them with other clothes too. Best costume hands down though is the catfish. We'll talk about it more later, but with the Cupid's Corner app, we can't catfish other Sims as much as I was hoping, so I guess part of that will just have to be taken to a more literal level. This costume is pretty funny too. I think it's supposed to be a peach, but a couple of swatches also remind me of cherries. So yeah, it could be the cherry on top. From what I saw of the men's stuff, it looks pretty underwhelming for the most part, but that's pretty par for the course. And then finally, they acknowledge the eyelashes. So this is going to be a free update, and they're actually under makeup in their own category. So then you can easily use them with glasses and accessories. And we'll have 2 eyelash options in the base game, but then we'll have 2 more fancy options included with Lovestruck. I've been using Kijiko's 3D lashes custom content for years, so hopefully those get updated for this. And it'll be interesting to see if they conflict with other textures or not in the long run. Another free addition to Create a Sim for all players is the ability to copy an item to other outfits or even all of them. So that'll work for the new eyelashes, but also things like glasses, tops, bottoms, and shoes. This is something that's being asked for by the community for a long time, and I know as a cast enthusiast myself, I'm really going to get a lot of use out of that. The free update will also include more in terms of setting relationship options through Create a Sim, so finally we can establish that 2 Sims are just dating, not already engaged or married. And speaking of those, they did update those 2 to be more gender neutral. So now engaged instead of fiancé and spouse instead of husband or wife. You can also see the romance dynamic options that are exclusive to Lovestruck: steamy, strained, unpredictable, and wholesome. They already talked about this in more detail in the past in that blog post, so I don't think there's really much need to really retread that here. There's also the new romantic boundary system in the update, so there's a few different options here. All of them are yes and no questions, starting with this Sim feels jealous if any romantic partner engages in non-physical romance with other Sims. This Sim feels jealous if any romantic partner engages in physical romance, excluding woohoo with other Sims. This Sim feels jealous if any romantic partner engages in woohoo with other Sims. Lastly, this Sim's jealousy triggers can change by talking about it with other Sims. So that's interesting that it's not set in stone, that it is possible to have those change through gameplay. Moving on to Aspirations, there's 2 new ones with Lovestruck. So the first is Romantic Explorer, where the sim wants to explore all that romance has to offer with their partner. The other is Paragon Partner, where the sim wants to have successful relationships with 2 or more sims at the same time. Romantically Reserved is one of the new traits. It still sounds very much like unflirty to me, but these sims will require a deep friendly connection with other sims to get more romantically involved with them. And they are able to also build logic and writing skills faster than normal. Lovebug is the other new trait, so they said the difference between this and the base game romantic trait is that romantic sims are more successful with their romantic interactions, but Lovebug sims build a romantic relationship bar faster. They're also able to propose to other sims faster, but there is one drawback: it's harder to keep up their romantic satisfaction. Next up is the attraction system, which is under preferences, but it is sort of like a different section compared to likes and dislikes. And we have 6 different categories: way of life, characteristics, romance styles, hair color, outfit color, and fashion. Way of life ties into both the sim skills and the experience that they're going through. Say things like academic, arts and crafts, broke, wealthy, culinary skills, or just highly skilled overall, self-employed, slacker. Even Taken your sims can be turned on or off by, because, you know, some people just want what they can't have. Characteristics covers traits. Lots of those choices are similar to what we already saw with social compatibility and growing together. And romance styles is basically love language, how a sim prefers to engage with romance. So affection, flirting, gift giving, physical intimacy, and of course, woohoo. Thankfully, there is cross-pack integration with at least a couple of these, like the academic way of life. It does have sims be turned on to sims with logic skill, but also research and debate from Discovery University, vampire lore from Vampires, archaeology from Jungle Adventure, Salvadoradian culture from Jungle Adventure, and gemology from the recent Crystal Creations stuff pack. One last creative sim thing is a better look at the crying makeup that's included with the bonus content. So yeah, that's kind of nice. I don't know how often I'll use it, but definitely good for machinima makers at least. Then the new world, which I finally know the correct pronunciation, Ciudad Enamorada. So it has 13 lots spread across 3 different neighborhoods. There's the suburban area called Vista Hermosa. There's Plaza Mariposa, which is the central square. Lastly, we have Nuevo Corazon, which I think I'm still pronouncing incorrectly, but it's basically the city area that I wish San Sequoia had. So I'm definitely most intrigued about that one. There's 2 penthouse lots. It appears both of them are already occupied to begin with, so I guess I'm gonna have to kick out one of them because I want to make one of my own households to live in one of those penthouses. Shikiyuv, Rustic Sims, and Friusario were finally revealed as the 3 EA creators who helped build these lots. And they're all Mexican, so that's nice, especially considering this world is Mexican inspired. So they get right into the city, starting with the gym, and there's a total of 4 lots here. So there's the gym, 2 penthouse lots, and also a nightclub. They also highlight some nice art that is seen throughout the world, and that butterflies are basically the mascot of this new world. And they also talk about how there's a new flower shop. There's also a new food stand that offers 3 new recipes: Pumbazo, Pescado a la Talla, and Spicy Hot Chocolate for the spicy pack. Soon after, they talk about another feature coming to the free update, and that is curved pools. So they work similarly to curved walls, maybe a bit too similar because they're also kind of glitchy visually. Like, you can see a few dots of shadows around the top left of the pool. And in the trailer, actually, some people did point out there's a bit of visual tearing near the curved pool in that penthouse in that video. They also revealed for attraction there is a new relationship category in the social pie menu. So under that, there are various things you can ask about, like asking for counseling, asking about woohoo interests, romantic interests, and learn more in terms of their romantic boundaries, romantic satisfaction, attraction level, and also just explaining the attraction level you have to the other sim. So they had one sim ask the other about how he's attracted to her, and He gave a pretty negative answer, that he is very unattracted to her. What's very strange about this, though, is you can see he flirts with her right after, so, yeah, that makes me worried about how much this whole attraction system will actually affect autonomy. It is also possible for a prompt to come up where your active sim will ask you if you want them to take another sim on a date. Hopefully this doesn't pop up as often as it does for the likes and dislikes, because that's really annoying. But they also asked Diego about how he's feeling about the relationship, and he said he's just feeling fine. Then they open Diego's profile, and you can see in the relationship panel, there's a magnet icon to indicate his attraction level, but there is the turn-ons and turn-offs under preferences, and then under relationship, we have romantic feelings. So attraction and romantic satisfaction are tracked separately, and with the satisfaction, it's not always exactly the same between the two sims. Engaging with turn-ons and turn-offs of both sims is what helps influence romantic satisfaction, and then while there is separate satisfaction between the two sims, there is also a calculated total of satisfaction between the two sims. So if that total is low, then the relationship will decay faster. But then if their satisfaction is really good, then it'll actually improve the relationship slowly over time. There's a new option on the phone to purchase romantic items, so there's things like bouquets, blankets, individual flowers, the new costume trunk, and some candy. There's also a new game that you can buy, so there's two different versions, Thumbs Up, which is friendly, and Woohoo, where you can learn more about your friends or partners, honestly more than you ever needed to know. So the devs have Luciana give Diego some popcorn clusters, and what's interesting is that even though the interaction goes positively, the romantic satisfaction for Diego goes down while Luciana's goes up, and that's because Diego is turned off by romantic gifts. I find this quite interesting and really makes it so that you gotta pay attention to what the other sim likes, because things may not be going as well as you think. I guess this is basically their way of having one-sided relationships without changing the existing relationship bars. There are supposed to be some new social and object interactions, like while at the gym you can show off your fitness gains or compliment the form of another sim while they're working out. Now we have an example of a romantic boundary being broken, where Diego did a romantic introduction on Bella. This breaks a romantic boundary for Luciana because she does not like it when her partner engages in non-physical romance with another sim. When jealousy like this ends up happening, it also means that the jealous sim loses a good amount of romantic satisfaction with the partner who caused the jealousy. Also, the partner may initiate a breakup or divorce, though there will be multiple warnings before this can actually happen, and this thing can actually be disabled through the game settings if you want. So then they have Diego flirt with Bella one more time, and then a notification pops up where Luciana says that she's feeling very unsatisfied with the relationship, and if he's mean to her while feeling this way, she'll initiate a breakup. So they have Diego flirt with Bella again, and that's it. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back, so she breaks up the relationship autonomously. We end up getting reminded that it is possible for Sims to literally die of a broken heart with this pack, so they take Luciana over to another neighborhood, Vista Hermosa, and yeah, I think it looks pretty nice from what I can see so far. There is an empty lot, which is good as well, so it'll be interesting to see what builders will make for that place. They also mentioned the Wall of Love, a landmark here where some Sims can possibly write their love declarations on it. Not far from there is the Love Motel rabbit hole where couples can go and stay the night. The romance skill is the next thing they talk about, so they have Luciana scan the room so that you can easily see who is romantically available, and then they'll have hearts appear over their heads. And there's also a special power where you can unleash a flirty aura so that Sims around you will just feel more flirty. They briefly mentioned some other interactions that you unlock as you level up the romance skill, including more kisses, so I'm looking forward to seeing what all those are. There is a blind date option that is separate from Cupid's Corner, but here is what the app looks like. So that is interesting with the I describe myself as they just have 2 out of the 4 traits in there. So you can not exactly catfish, like you can't just say, oh, you're a squeamish sim if you're not. I don't know why I thought of squeamish of all traits, but yeah, so basically you can lie by omitting some of the truth, wearing that catfish costume, I guess, but yeah, it's just kind of weird how they did it, but they see taking selfies there, so yep, that's cool that you can actually do that. It's not just trailer magic. Then over to the matches tab. So with gallery sims, you will know they're from the gallery because it will display the creator's name below them, but you can choose to have only sims that you favorited and creators that you follow appear through the game settings, and you can also turn off gallery sims in Cupid's Corner entirely. Also, the sims who appear here only use content that you have installed and do not use any custom content. Thankfully, this doesn't seem as overpowered as Social Bunny is, because you can refresh the matches only every 8 hours if you don't like who you see, and you can only interact with up to 3 sims per day. Also, you can only save up to 15 sims in your Cupid's Corner contacts. From there, they decide Mateo is the one they're going to ask on a get-to-know-you date. Then after you choose the date type that you want, then you choose who you want to come with you, because it doesn't have to be just you and the date. They presented Diego as an option, but no, not going to do that. And then they show the full list of activities. You need to do at least 3 here. And what's kind of odd is they, at the bottom, have some activities that integrate with previous packs. Animals play in snow and skate, but it seems like they're going for a FOMO tactic here, because I'm pretty sure they only have the base game and Lovestruck installed on this, but then they still have those show up, so it's like a tease. I love pack integration, but usually those things are invisible to the player until they get those packs, rather than it being just dangled in front of their faces like this. Besides the world screen, of course, but that's a little different. Also, it's weird there's only 3. I thought there would at least also be bowling from Bowling Night stuff, because they have Bowling Night as part of that new Get Dating bundle on the EA app. Now they're off to the date, and you can see the date UI in the top left, and the activities they chose do influence the different goals that can pop up now, and they do go and ask Mateo's turn-ons and turn-offs. I find it really weird that she learned all of the turn-ons and turn-offs right away. That's too easy in my opinion. You should have to do it a few times over the course of the relationship in order to learn everything. That would make more sense to me. There's a date actions category available while you're on a date with a few different options: ask how date's going, ask to change venue, ask to extend date, end date abruptly, and end date cheerfully. They do want to change the venues so they can go to a place that's easier to sky gaze, so they ask to change venue. It is pretty much the same thing as just hitting the M key, but at least it's a bit more realistic, where you have the sim actually talking to the other sim and be like, hey, let's go somewhere else. And then you go to the map screen. They head off to the Plaza Mariposa neighborhood, which has this cute looking park here. There's an empty lot that they'll get to later to show off build buy stuff. There's a vacation rental lot by Rustic Sims. I know she said residential rental, but I'm pretty sure she misspoke there, because I saw the vacation rental icon when they were still in map view. And there is also a pre-made household living over here. There's also the Fountain of Dreams, unfortunately not a woohoo spot after all, but you can wish for others' unhappiness, wish for others' happiness, wish for love, wish for happiness, steal from the fountain, and then the normal sit together and napping interactions. So it's kind of like a slimmed down version of the wishing well from Romantic Garden stuff, I suppose. Here's an example of being able to ask another sim to reconsider their romantic boundaries. Though in this case, these two Sims are pretty well aligned, so they didn't actually follow through with any of these. Then we have a bit of an explanation for the costume chest. So you can dress by yourself, you can go in with a partner, or you can have a whole bunch of Sims to just call to wear. So that should be pretty interesting. There's also the game that I mentioned earlier with the friendly and intimate versions. And conveniently in every venue, there's a janitor's closet that Sims can woohoo in. One nice touch is that you may see couples just looking at the sky together like the pancakes here, so that's pretty adorable. So then they have their new couple do the same thing. I actually really like this animation. I wasn't expecting it to be that interesting, but yeah, I kind of like the little nudges that they do, so I think that is an interaction that I'll end up using quite a bit with my couples. Then a pretty surprise addition in my eyes, the option to hide a relationship from your relationship panel if you don't want to see that Sim in there anymore. So they hide the relationship with Diego, though that doesn't actually delete the relationship. It just makes it invisible, and then if you interact with that Sim again, then they will reappear in the relationship panel. After a few more romantic interactions, the romantic satisfaction mechanic is unlocked for this new couple, and Mateo asks to go back to Luciana's place with her. I love that you can get feedback from the other Sim in this way instead of it being just all main character energy the whole time. But again, I am just hoping that these don't pop up super easily. They accept his bold invitation and go back to the penthouse, so there is 2 new TV channels, telenovelas and reality dating TV. I love getting new TV stations, so that is very much welcome. Then they revealed another surprise, which is going to be a big one for me, safer streaming for music. Because I've noticed some games starting to have this option now. I play Disney Dreamlight Valley all the time and it has that too, where when you have that box checked off, then when you're streaming content, you don't have to worry about getting copyright flagged for the music that plays in the background. They said they are going to get more streaming safe music for the game in the future, so thank you so much for that. So we saw Luciana using the costume chest, and now for the heart bed returning from The Sims 1. So yes, it can vibrate, and it can apparently change the Sims' voices while they're on it. There's also supposed to be some funny moodlets, and Sims can now cuddle in bed, though I think that's with all beds. Yeah, the animation there got glitchy, possibly because she was wearing the costume beforehand. Hopefully they fix that eventually, because I think the pack will launch with that glitch intact still. After doing a woohoo that already got them to very satisfied with their relationship, they shift over to showing off the new build buy items. I don't really have too much to say about this, and the video's long enough as it is, but we have a couple new pool trims and another new design for the swing set. We got a bit more detail about the Axolotls. It sounds like they are a collection where we just find them out in the world, but you can actually go into build mode and change the swatch so that there's these goofy designs drawn on the glass of their tank, including who's playing the saxophone. That's so random to me, but apparently that is a common thing that axolotl owners do. Also, just like with the frogs in base game, you can breed axolotls, so there is a little something there. Another thing that caught my attention is that there's a couple different curtains that you can snap to double beds now, so that's a really cool little thing there that I wasn't expecting. They also showed off the reward objects for the new romance consultant career. That's too bad they didn't get to show off the gameplay of it, but they did mention that some of the tasks involved are reading romance novels, writing advice columns, and giving unsolicited love advice to other Sims. But yeah, that's cool that they got the lip sofa in there. So that's basically it for this deep dive Lovestruck live stream. So I guess it was okay. I just still feel like, even though I'm more interested in the pack now, it's still on the level of a game pack. It's a great game pack, but still I don't feel like, even though there's stuff that I'll use and like growing together, it would probably feel weird to go back to playing without it after playing with it. There just doesn't seem to be enough there. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts on the deep dive live stream in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I'll talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!